Hello there guys, it's me Unstable Voltage and welcome to a new series of Europa Universalis 4. Unfortunately I am unable to continue my Iroquois series simply because I managed to get early code for the Rights of Man DLC and the save games are no longer compatible. I knew that was something that was likely to happen. I was mainly just playing that Iroquois game just to sort of give me something to do while waiting for this. We will certainly go back in the future and revisit a Native American campaign and try it out with the new sort of tech and westernization mechanic. So we are going to be playing a game using the Rights of Man expansion. Now this isn't actually released yet, it doesn't come out until I think it's Tuesday the 11th of October, so I did get this about a week early, so do bear in mind that this is preview code. There shouldn't really be too much difference between this and the final thing, but it is worth keeping it in mind just in case there are any issues with any bugs or balancing and things like that. Now there's quite a few things that have been added in the Rights of Man DLC. The most significant thing, which is actually part of the free patch, so even if you don't have the Rights of Man DLC, when the patch comes out, this will be a change for all players, and that is the way that non-Western tech groups work. So instead of actually having Western tech groups and the non-Western tech groups that can then later Westernize, there's actually a mechanic where I'm not 100% sure the way it works because this is definitely going to be a learning campaign to find that out. But from what I can tell, it works a little bit similar to the way that technology spread works in Crusader Kings 2, where technology sort of eventually spreads from province to province, and you can embrace those technologies to actually sort of become Western. But we'll find that out as we go in. Now, the major things that have actually changed in the DLC. There are some quite nice actions you can do now. First of all, you can actually develop territory that belongs to your subjects, which is fantastic because it increases their opinion of you. You can also build buildings in your subjects' territory. You can resign or retire a monarch to allow your heir to take over if they are old enough. You're also able to sort of disavow an heir if you have enough prestige. If you get a really bad heir, you can say you don't want them and try and wait for a better one. They've also added a feature called the Major Powers. So some of the really big, more powerful nations within the game, such as France, the Ottomans, England, Spain, will become major powers. Major powers have some unique diplomatic actions that they can take, which basically involves getting involved in other people's business, but that'll be some interesting stuff. And there's been quite a few changes made to the Ottomans. They get their own unique government type as well as some special events. And in honour of that, I'm actually going to go and play a game as the Ottomans. And the reason for doing that is I've never actually played a game as the Ottomans before. And they should be considered one of the major powers. And we did have a little bit of issue with the Ottomans when we were doing the Vijayanagar campaign. So it'd be quite nice to play that from the other side. Now, they are an independent nation. They are a sultanate. So they get yearly legitimacy, they get minus 10% unjustified demands, an extra diplomat, 5 states, reduced 5 years on their national focus cooldown. They are part of the Anatolian tech group, and they are a kingdom, they are Sunni. So they start with a 5-5-6 ruler, which is fantastic, and even their heir is a 3-3-3, which is definitely not bad. They start off with 5% discipline and 3% tolerance of heathens. For completing their idea group, they get an extra third on their land force limit modifier. Their first national idea is reduced core creation costs and max promoted cultures. So this is another thing that has been added in the Rights of Man expansion. You now are able to pick which cultures you wish to accept and which is your dominant culture. So it's no longer just based on the amount of development a particular culture has within your nation. So that's something we'll mess around with. Then 20% manpower recovery speed, 15% infantry, cavalry combat ability, cost of reducing war exhaustion minus 10%, plus 10% national tax modifier, plus 10% trade efficiency, and minus 10% ship costs. So what it's basically saying is Ottomans OP. So let's go and jump straight in. We start off with a load of truces against people, and we are guaranteeing the independence of Ragusa. That probably won't be for too long. We're not going to play on Iron Man mode. I never do, just in case there are any issues. Now, we're not actually allowed to sort of do any tutorials or review the expansion at this point. So this is literally just going to be a let's play of us trying to discover what the new mechanics are and learning how they work. Hopefully they shouldn't be too complex. So here we are, the Ottoman Empire, and as I said, I've never played the Ottoman Empire before. Instantly I've noticed that there's a new button up here where we can view the great powers. The Ottomans are ranked number 3 among the great powers. To increase in rank, we must beat France with their great power rating of 358. To keep our current rank, we must remain ahead of the Timurids with their great power rating of 306, and our current rating is 311. Our great power status has the following effects. Our prestige decays -1%. Our institution embracement cost, now that is the new tech mechanic in embracing institution, is -10%, and we get +20 power projection. If we go ahead and click on that, we get a list of who all of the great powers are. Have a look at Ming there, will you, with his 1,109 development divided by the current technology cost. So is that how they work the rating out? Because our rating, well, we know that the Timurids is 306, not 459. So, yeah, this is rating, this is development. So, development is obviously development, and rating is development divided by current technology cost. So, because the Timurids are the only ones who have an increased technology cost, because they have not embraced feudalism. Feudalism. So, their technology cost, so everyone has a base cost of 100. And then that is increased by not having embraced certain sort of technical revolutions, I would say you'd call them. So we've got Ming, then France, then as Timurids, Mamluks, England's, Lithuania, and Castile. So if we go ahead and have a look at some of these other nations, we can go ahead and see their tech group somewhere. If I click on the right buttons. So we can see this is the Eastern tech group. They have embraced feudalism. It's not actually telling us what difference it gives them to their tech. Has embraced feudalism. What have we got here? You are the nomadic. You have embraced feudalism. Is there an extra map mode that shows us this? Where would it be? Let's have a look. States, unrest, rebel types, dynastic. No, it's not under there. Is it going to be under diplomatic? You can see great powers, though. That is a new map mode, so we can instantly see where everyone is. The Timurids are quite large, it has to be said. And what else do we want to do? Economic map modes, trade, development, technology, institutions. Right, so there we are. So we can see the technology map mode there. And we can already see that everyone in Europe looks like they're starting off on a pretty sort of level footing. Everyone is starting off with 333 on their techs. If we go ahead and look at institutions, so now we can see the nations that haven't embraced feudalism. So if we mouse over all of the green nations, we can see feudalism is present. And if we mouse over the red ones, we can see that feudalism isn't in some of these, and there is a percentage modifier. So there are some places where feudalism is starting to arrive. So I really want to work out how that mechanic is actually going to work. So all these guys will probably have a 50% penalty until they get feudalism. Not necessarily sure that I'm going to want to have... Is there any buttons here that I don't use much? Probably most of them. We could put it under Imperial. Do we have tech on here at all? Probably not. I'm not that bothered about that, to be honest. We'll mess around with map modes as and when we need to. Okay, so let's go and get started. I'm trying to left-click drag because I've been spending so much time playing Civilization 6 recently. Before we do anything else, why have we got this like weird yellow glow around our flag? Let's just quickly go in and reduce the army maintenance straight away. I can see we've got some extra buttons down here instantly. So these are a few other things that you can do now. Obviously, you can still... So, alright, these are some very nice buttons. We can just take a loan out from here now. So, take out a 5-year loan. And it gives us all the information. We can repay a loan or repay all loans. And you also have an option now to debase the currency. So, debasing the currency gives you the same amount of money as a loan. But it also increases corruption by 2%. And you can debase your you can debase your currency 5 more times or until reaching 90% corruption. So it takes 12 months to recharge debased currency, and up to a maximum of 5 uses can be stored. So it's basically a way of getting a loan without having to pay it back, but you do actually pick up some corruption. When you consider how much money it costs to root out corruption, it's probably not going to be any more beneficial than taking out a loan. You can also pay off loans for your subjects as well. And I think if you're a great power, you can even pay it out. You can pay off your debt for other nations. So we've got this government tab now as well, which is strengthen government. Legitimacy is already at the highest. So I think you can actually spend military power to strengthen your legitimacy. These are our accepted cultures. So we accept Turkish, which is our primary culture. We also accept Bulgarian and Greek. And we can demote that culture by spending some Diplo power. It will increase unrest. You need at least 50% of your development in states to become for it to become a primary culture. And you need to have at least 20 development for something to be an accepted culture, and you can promote it that way. So we can actually decide which types of culture we will accept. So that's quite a nice, interesting thing. So another thing that we want to do quickly is just go ahead and turn off all of our forts. So let's just go ahead and mothball them all. I don't think we need them on. We do have a leader. We can have 2. This leader is an amazing 3-3-3-1. Very good leader to start with. Too few rivals. Who have rivaled us? Byzantium, Hungary, and Poland. Well, Byzantium definitely, because they are going to be on our hit list. Hungary and Poland, they're quite big powers. We do have a border with them, but they are quite on the large side. What's this that we've got here? Maximum provincial unrest reduction. The maximum amount of unrest reduction from this unit standing in a province. So that's actually quite nice now. You can actually see how much you would reduce provincial unrest by having that particular unit in a province. I like that. But all the same, we still have too few rivals. So yeah, definitely Byzantium. Who else could we rival? Who are we likely to attack early on? Nobody particularly close by. I guess we probably want the Mamluks, so let's go and rival them. And then, although we don't have a direct border with them yet, but we will do. And then who else do we want to get? Possibly Venice. Although we don't have a direct border with them yet either. Although they do own this, don't they? So we do have a direct border with Venice. So let's go and rival Venice as well. So we'll make sure that we issue all of our embargoes with these people. So we've got great power actions at the moment, actually. We'll have a look at that in a second. We can't embargo because we still have a truce. Do we have a truce with all of these nations? It was you, Byzantium. We can issue an embargo there. And also the Mamluks, we can issue an embargo there. So if we go ahead and have a look at this great power actions. So we can take on foreign debt. We can pay off somebody else's entire debt, which will make them like us more. Could also be useful if you want someone to come into a war with you and they won't come in because they're in debt. You can just pay it off. You can influence their nation. So obviously that'll be just a way to get them to like you more. I'm not too sure what the... Well, tell us what the cost is if we click it. So as a great power, we will influence the petty country of Bosnia towards our diplomatic position, altering their opinion of us by 25 for 10 years. They will also receive +1 to the monarch power category they are weakest in, which is currently admin for the duration. Their trust in us changes by 5%. So basically we can give them a monarch point every month to boost them, but make them like us more. And what was the cost there at the bottom? There will be a one-time cost for corresponding to 12 months of their income. A sum presently 20 ducats to carry out this political manoeuvre. So it does cost a little bit of money. And what else do we have? Intervene in a war. So they're not in a war with anyone. So you can help people out in a war against competing great powers. So if a great power is picking on a little guy, then another great power can come to the little guy's aid. And you can also get minor nations to break their alliances as well. We've gone on for 15 minutes and we haven't actually done anything yet. We've got a completely new screen here as well. So we can see our current ruler. We can't actually see our heir here, but it does work slightly differently for the Ottomans. So, Conqueror, -5 years of separatism. So this is another thing as well. Rulers get these traits. A ruler gets a trait when they reach adulthood. They also gain another trait when they have been a ruler for 10 years. And they gain another trait when they've been a ruler for 25 years. So I'm assuming that's what these are. So yeah, personality. Well, it's called a personality trait. Personality trait in 10 years. Personality trait gained in 25 years. The one we already have is Conqueror. So it gives us -5 years of separatism. Now, these aren't just for players. AI rulers also get these as well. And that actually changes how they operate. So, an AI ruler with Conqueror would desire any neighbouring land possible, be more likely to start wars, send gifts less often, and spend less on building. So if you're playing against the Ottomans, you know what to expect, assuming they always start with that same personality trait. We've got this button here that we can use to abdicate, but we do... Oh, we're not actually an adult yet, we're only 12. So maybe you get the first personality trait when you become the ruler. I was under the impression it was when you became an adult, but quite possibly not. So you cannot abdicate while you do not have an heir. We need to get some advisors. What is our income? It's actually pretty good. Let's get the national tax modifier guy. He will pay for himself. Let's go ahead and get... we could go for a level 2, but I don't think we need to at the moment. So let's just go Diplo Rep. And let's go for... let's just get the national manpower one. Just some cheap ones. We don't want to spend all of our money early on. We can convert some provinces to Sunni. There's quite a few provinces that are Orthodox that we need to flip over. So let's get working on those as quickly as we can. We only have the one missionary. That'll cause some unrest. We can already take some national decisions here. We can adopt the Devshirme system because of our skill and military power. We'd lose some military power, but we would get +10 national manpower modifier until the end of the game. Definitely want that. We can adopt the Khalifa because we have a military skill of at least 3, which will give us yearly prestige until the death of our current king. Well, sure, let's take it. And the denouncement of sect practices, which reduces national unrest. We'd gain some piety, but yeah, I can't see any reason why we wouldn't want to take that. So, City of World's Desire is always a good one to start with the Ottomans. We get some yearly legitimacy for taking Constantinople. Should be really, really easy to do. That gives us a CB. Got to remember we've not got the scrolling on. So, let's quickly go ahead and just make sure I put my army maintenance back up. It just feels like all of the buttons have moved around now, so I'm trying to remember what I'm doing. So, we want our army maintenance back up. We do have some ships here. We've got 3 lights and we've got 8 galleys. I see no reason not to have them all grouped together. And you guys are going to be protecting trade, I suppose, in the Constantinople node. Speaking of trade, how many merchants do we have? We have 2. Also, this is changed a little bit as well. You can actually see the number of ships you have protecting trade. So we've got 1 in Aleppo and we've got 1 down here in Alexandria, all pushing into Constantinople, where we will collect automatically. I'm fine with that. We have a little bit of money left. We could go and build some improvements. Doesn't seem worth the effort. So let's just make sure we have ourselves a leader here. We'll put our really good guy in charge. We probably want to try and take everything that we can from Constantinople. So let's go ahead and make sure we've got this other army heading down here. And we can't start war on them just yet. So we are going to have to unpause the game. Now, it would be nice if we could get some alliances. I think it's usually fairly standard for the Ottomans to try and ally Tunisia. Tunisia do like me. Alliance actions. They would accept an alliance. So let us go and do that. They may offer me the royal marriage. In fact, they probably will. Yep, so we're being denounced by a few people. Coast is being raided, which is a little bit annoying. We need to do something with our diplomats as well. We can't send one there yet because we don't have enough time. Who would we like to maybe make friends with? Maybe Lithuania. Let's go see if we can improve some relations up there, because they could help us against Poland and Hungary later on. Maybe we want to get a little bit friendly over here, although I think these guys, yeah, these guys have already rivaled us, so that's not too much of an issue. Let us go and start... Can we fabricate any claims over here? Mamluks, can I not send... apparently I've recently sent a diplomat to them. Oh yeah, because we embargoed them. So what we want to do here is... Covert actions, build a spy network with you. We want to improve relations with you when we can. So we'll keep a diplomat free because we need to go and declare this war. Can we do that yet? Yes, we can. We should have a claim on them. So we should have a CB. Yep, so we can take Constantinople. Now, Athens would come in to help, but we are not too bothered by that. However, there's no point starting a war now. We will be doing that on our next video. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. I really hope that you're going to enjoy this series of EU4. I'll see you next time, and until then, goodbye for now.